Welcome back to Silent Service. My name is Will. I hope you're doing well. Matt is still away in one of the most beautiful states, I would argue, in the United States. He is in Hawaii with his family. Matt, I hope you're having a wonderful time out there. But for you, like I said, I hope you're doing well. And I'm so grateful that you're joining me today because we're going to be talking about a journal that Matt so graciously shared with me. So we call this episode 10 Life Lessons from a Quiet Leader, aka Matt Tomorrow. So, obviously, here within Silent Service, in case you're a new listener, uh, we love to chat about the quiet things that shape extraordinary lives. And I'm so excited to get in this episode, but I have to stop myself because we have to check in with each other. And again, in case you're new, we always start our episodes by using this idea of MEPS, right? A four-letter acronym that means how are you feeling mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually? For me, I'm feeling sharp mentally, emotionally thrilled, physically wonderful, and spiritually gentle. Hmm. Yeah, that's that's how I'm feeling. I took a moment before we started to record to write those down, but feel free to use that little acronym with your significant other, with your family members, with your friends, because it's a really nice and authentic way to check in with each other. And I just love MEPS. So um, without further ado, this episode truly hits close to home because a few years ago, Matt Tomorrow, my mentor, friend, manager, and one of the most grounded leaders I know, wrote a series of journal entries to his team. And these weren't bullet points or business memos. They were simply reflections on life lessons that he's pondered over the years. And what's so cool about them is that they are honest, they are gritty, and they are full of tension and truth, right? Some of them might be a little hard to hear. They might be a little deep. They might be a little, as I said, tense, but I just love them and I know you will too. But here's what I love most, right? They weren't written for the public, and yet they speak straight to the heart of anyone trying to grow with intention, right? That's you and me, regardless of age, gender, occupation, what have you. We're all trying to grow to be the best version of ourselves. So today, I'm bringing you 10 takeaways from Matt's journal, reframed not just for leaders, but for anyone trying to live with faith, discipline, and purpose. So for you, after I share each lesson, I'll include a little reflection. I already have included a little reflection question that you can use to pause this episode and ask yourself as we learn together. So let's go ahead and jump in. Number one, your struggle is a privilege. So I'm going to paraphrase here, but Matt essentially wrote, your anxiety, your fatigue, your fear, they're not signs of failure. They're proof you're in the gym. And here he's speaking figuratively, excuse me, about life's hard seasons being like a workout. And this line truly stuck with me because some of the most transformative seasons of my life didn't feel like growth, right? Granted, I've only had 24 years on this planet. Hope to have many, many more, but truly they felt like frustration, right? These transformative seasons of mine. But pressure isn't punishment, it's a process. And I've come to learn this throughout my life. And obviously, thanks to these journal entries shared with me by Matt and now shared with you. So, this all comes down to preparation. So, in terms of reflection, I would ask you, could the thing you're fighting against be the training you've been asking for? Right? Because the growth that you and I endure stems from those difficult, trying periods of our lives that aren't, the most wonderful, right? These are the valleys I'm talking about, not the peaks. Life's full of peaks and valleys, but we're talking about the valleys here because that's where we reap the most benefit, even if it might not feel like it in the moment. So, number two, the real prize is the process. So you and I are sold this lie that success is a moment, a finish line. But Matt sees it differently here. So to break this down, what he said, paraphrasing again, the win isn't the outcome. The win is showing up with no audience, no applause, and still doing your best for you, right? Because if you can't respect yourself and your motives and your actions, how can you expect yourself to respect anybody else? It all starts with you. All of the success that you wish upon yourself and those that you love starts from within. And maybe that's a tad bit deep for you, but that's just the way it is. And I've come to learn this. So this idea it really hit me because most of our life happens between milestones, right? In the ordinary, the boring middle miles, if you will. And the way we handle the middle is what defines us. So in terms of reflection based on this takeaway, I would ask you, are you aiming to arrive or are you becoming, right? We should be focused on becoming. And the kicker really is that you may never finish becoming. In fact, you probably won't. But that's the goal of our lives to constantly be improving and becoming the best version of ourselves. So, number three, lions don't wait to be told. You're like, lions? What the heck? Well, Matt would draw this contrast here between rabbits and lions. Rabbits, they stay frozen until the coast is clear. Lions, they move, right? They're the alpha. So he essentially said, you don't need a permission slip to lead. You just need a pulse and a purpose, right? This is phenomenal because it means that all of us are worthy of phenomenal accomplishments. We just have to begin and trust our process and our purpose. So there are things God asks you to begin, not wait for the right moment, just begin. So wherever you are in your life journey, whether you're 70 years old, whether you're 15 years old, right, you just have to begin and trust and respect yourself to see your journey through. So in terms of reflection here, what have you been waiting for a sign to do when discipline would have already started it? I just love that. So once again, feel free to pause the episode and ponder that question as you please. Number four, you will never win if you lie to yourself. One of the hardest truths Matt dropped was this idea you can't become the person you want to be while lying to the one that you currently are. And that's not about guilt, it's about clarity, right? He encouraged his team to look in the mirror each week and ask, did I actually do the work? Or did I just look busy? Right? There's a key differentiation here, and you want to actually do the work not for anybody else that employs you or that you look up to. Don't do it for anybody else, but just do it for yourself because you are the only person that you will know and be around for the rest of your life. That is a fact. And unfortunately, that's just the way life is. So I encourage you to ponder these ideas and think about it in terms of this reflection. What truth are you avoiding that would put you on the right track? So fantastic. Number five, no one will ever know, but do it anyway. No one will ever know is the most common excuse in the entire world. I'm sure you've heard it so often, but Matt called it out as the most dangerous, mind you, because character is what you build in the unseen, right? It's the silent service, the late nights, the extra sweep of the broom after everyone has gone home, the way you talk when no one's around, those moments compound. And what's so cool about these moments is it makes you much more confident when you're doing these things, not for anybody else, but just to impress yourself. That is silent service. That is phenomenal. And it's a way in which I try to live my life. It's a way in which Matt tries to live his life. In fact, he has been for a long time. And I just love it. That is silent service. That is the movement. That is what you and I are learning about as we go. So please do go ahead and think about this in terms of the reflection question. If your private habits became public record, what would change? Right? Think about it like this. If a film crew, if they were monitoring your every move during a given day, a given 24-hour period day, if you're a parent, think about it like this. If that film crew edited that film and saved it as a home video for your kids to see 5 years down the road, would they be proud? Right? Think about it like that, and you'll have extraordinary results. I promise you. I promise you. It's so cool and so enlightening to think about it this way. Number six, build your own lottery ticket. What do I mean by this? Well, Matt once wrote, and I'm paraphrasing once again, stop waiting to be picked. Stack days so disciplined that the opportunity ends up knocking on your door. Man, this idea piqued my interest because sometimes we want the spotlight before we've practiced in the shadows, right? We heard about this in the last episode. The public praises people for what they practice in private. The public praises people for what they practice in private. I love it. So think about it like this. Feel free to pause the episode. What excuse me, could you start this weekend that your future self would high five you for? Right? Is it running? Is it hitting the gym? Is it emptying the dishwasher without being asked? Taking the initiative? Right? Sending your significant other a subtle note that you admire them, right? The options are endless. And it's just quick little ideas that can have such a profoundly beneficial impact on your future self and your current state of mind. So, number 7, aggressive patience. From what I gathered here, Matt believes in aggressive patience. In other words, not passive, lazy, or waiting oriented habits. Active, faithful preparation is what we ought to be all about, showing up before you see a reward, right? Again, like we talked about in a previous episode, some of the most wonderful and impressive founders of phenomenal companies, they never really cared about the summit of a mountain, right? I'm using an analogy here because they're enjoying the climb. So they don't care about the reward. And if you think of yourself as somebody that's not even interested in the reward, you know it's there, but you're just so focused on the journey and what's going to get you there, right? You fall in love with the process. That is key to enjoying one's life because all that you'll have once you reach that summit is your memory of what it took to get you there. And that is profound and what is so cool about this mindset shift of silent service. So, reflecting upon that, what seeds are you planting right now that you need to keep watering? Go ahead and think about that. Now, number 8, steward what you already have. Matt had this simple idea, stop asking for more if you're sloppy with what you've got. I mean, ouch, like that hurts a little bit, but it's true, you know? Before we pray for a promotion, right? Let's say you want a promotion at work, we need to ask, am I being faithful what's already on my plate? Am I cleaning up after myself spiritually, relationally, practically, right? Am I doing my due diligence? Right? So I encourage you to think about this through the context of this question. What have I been overlooking that God might be testing me with? Sheesh. It's super interesting when you break it down with a simple question like that. And of course, I word it like that and I explain it to you like that because I'm learning alongside you. You and I are kind of like a team. We're figuring this out together, because we never stop improving, regardless of, once again, age, gender, occupation, and profession, what have you. It's just the goal to continue improving day in and day out. Number 9, action cures all. This was one of the shorter journal entries, but massive in terms of its meaning. You can't think your way out of fear. You have to move, right? You have to start, you have to prepare, and you have to move. You have to take action. We as a society try to over strategize our way into courage, but sometimes it's the phone call, the text, the rep, the walk, the risk that shakes the fear off. Motion, right? Motion beats analysis every single time because best part of taking action over just thinking about something is failure is when you learn. And if you take action and fail versus just thinking the whole time, you're going to learn a whole lot more than just thinking about the time because you learn through experience and you don't learn too much by thinking. When you're thinking constantly, you're just relearning what you already know. So we could go down a massive rabbit hole on that topic, but I encourage you to think about it like this. What's one step you can take today that moves you from stuck to starting, right? Baby steps, right? Small incremental movements will get you faster get you to where you want to go faster than massive strides. Now, number 10, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. There's a reason this is the last takeaway because it is my favorite. Character doesn't scale, it compounds. That's the line, right? Paraphrasing. That is the line. And what Matt meant was how you handle the small stuff, right? It's not small, it's foundational. You cannot have big things, big successes without the small ones, right? They all compound toward the big objective, big achievement. So ask yourself, do you pick up a piece of trash near a trash can, even if it's not yours? Do you hold the door for a busy mom with three kids by her side, right? Do you participate in those silent service acts? Do you focus enough of your energy on yourself so that you can be your best self to support others, right? We can't care for other people if we don't care for ourselves. That's why I believe running is so important, or getting the gym, if you will, or let's say you're a writer, important to brain dump, to jot your ideas out. We do these things so that we can better take care of those that we love. So how you start your day, how you greet people, right? How you write an email, how you clean up, it all speaks to the kind of person you're becoming, right? So when you have a decision to make on whether you're going to go out of your way to help somebody out or do something that might not benefit you um, immediately, right? You can benefit other people. And it does happen to benefit you because these small acts of silent service compound into the person that you want to become. So, in terms of reflection, what do your small behaviors say about your real personal standard, right? You know, if you think about it like this, it's a little bit morbid. Matt and I have spoken about this, but what do you want your tombstone to say? Do you want it to say that person rarely went out of his way to help other people, where it rarely went out of her way to help other people? Do you want it to say um, that person cared a little bit about other people, but they were mainly self-absorbed? Or do you want it to say that person would make me feel like they had all the time in the world to with me when I wasn't doing well? That person cared more for me than I cared about myself. That's the kind of person I want to be. And I'm assuming that's the kind of person you want to be as well. That's why you're listening. That's why you and I are learning together. So, Matt, he didn't write these for anyone but the people right in front of him, the people that he was directly supporting. But what was just so beautiful about memorializing, excuse me, these ideas is that you and I get to learn from him. And through his takeaways, we get to participate in a better, more fulfilling life. And I think that's why it carries so much weight, right? There's no agenda here. It's just accountability and stewardship. And that's what I hope we carry too, that, silent service isn't just a show, it's a mindset, a movement of people trying to do things right, even when no one is looking. So this week or this weekend, pick one of these. Don't try to master all 10, but pick one, write it down, and live it out. Let your habits shape your future. And of course, you're not alone. Again, you and I are at this together. I'm on this journey with you the whole time. Before we close, I do want to go ahead and share this wonderful quote of the day. I'm not exactly sure who it came from, but I find it fascinating. A family member of mine sent it to me, and I just love it. It says, if you fail, never give up because fail, FAIL, means first attempt in learning. And then goes on to say, end is not the end. In fact, end, END, means effort never dies. If you get no as an answer, remember no, NO, means next opportunity. Change your mindset. I love this. I love that so much. Well, all in all, thank you so much for being here with me. I so appreciate this opportunity to learn alongside you. Um, Next week, Matt and I will be back in studio and we'll be extremely excited to sit down with you next time on Silent Service. Alrighty, have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, and we will see you in the next one.